All right, awesome. Art and Crafters. I want to share one of my favorite crafts, which is this drip painting technique, and also go over a few ideas on how you can have better results when doing drip painting. There's lots of ways to do it. Firstly, the paint that I used, you can use this simple Americana acrylic paint. You can also use things more like this, like interior paint. Obviously this paint's a little safer. This you don't want to get on your hands so much. And again, this is an activity that's better outside because of the paint. The other most important thing to make this successful is Floetrol. And I find this at Home Depot. Better to buy a big one because then you get a lot more. That the Floetrol, essentially, as far as I understand, is keeping everything separate. So it doesn't allow the colors to mix. If you have red and blue, you'll get purple. But when we have the Floetrol in here, it keeps the red and blue separate, so they kind of keep doing this marbling technique. The other thing is you can experiment with how much Floetrol. If you do, like, let's say 50% paint and 50% Floetrol, and then in this one you do almost 100% Floetrol and paint, some will rise and some will sink depending on the density of the paint, which is cool. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you was this coconut oil. So you can actually put these drops on here, and this will give us a different technique. The oil kind of separating everything again. You do not really want to get this Floetrol, especially on your skin. It's latex based, so there's definite sort of allergen factors to consider. If you need, you can use gloves. I have to keep them off your hand, the paint off your hands. And the other thing that I have found though is this ketchup bottle really helps with the paint's all mixed up with the Floetrol in it, and it helps keep from making a mess when it's in these simple ketchup bottles. However, when you pour from a cup, you do get different results. Pouring from different things or through different things will give you different techniques. So experiment with what works for you. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can zoom in on this guy here and see if we can watch a little bit of these. I have noticed that the sun is drying these really fast. So if I wanted to have more kind of flow time, I could probably be doing this in the shade. I'm sort of liking the ones on top, and then I'm allowing it to fall down onto the ones on the bottom. I've been saving this last little bit of white for kind of like the tops. I'm gonna turn these into little Christmas trees in another video. So let's see. And I also want to see what this coconut oil will do. Give some tops, save some of that. Here is the coconut oil. Let's watch what happens when we drop this on. It's kind of sitting on top right now. The other things I've found to help these be successful is they do like to be picked up. As you can see, they're kind of raised so the paint can drip off of them. That will be helpful removing them later too. I like to cover the entire background with one color and then kind of pour on top of that. Gives it a more filled in look. Let's just kind of keep pouring these on here. See what we get. The other thing I find is patience. If you can have the patience to not touch it, they'll come out better. Sometimes I overwork these. Get some in here. They really are the most interesting when they're drips. Rather than, you can though, if I could find a quick stick. This is another technique I'm going to experiment with on this one. So here's our coconut oil one, and I've seen this be really cool, where you kind of do this pull technique. In general for me, however, though, I find that when you start manipulating them with a brush or a stick or something, they look different and they start to look kind of overworked. Well, that's one thing we could do. That's kind of interesting. I'm kind of liking that, actually. The oil didn't do what I thought it would do, so I'm gonna put some more color on here. And kind of keep stacking up colors. So the trees for me on the top are feeling finished, and then the pieces below I'm kind of filling in the last little bits. These trees are coming along quite good too. I will continue to do the last few drips on these pieces and then let them dry, and we'll do another video on how to turn them into another little project. All right, thanks. Have a great day.